This is Matthew. This is my third video. It's August 1st, 2020. I just wanted to let you know that there is no good officer. At least for me, they treat me like a pile of crap. When they see me, they immediately treat me like garbage. And there's no way out of it. I have to get my story out. I have to let everybody know before it's too late for me. I'm 39 years old. I'm homeless. I've been homeless for 2 years. I don't have family supporting me. I don't have enough friends to support me. I don't know where to turn anymore. I have no treatment available for my edema in my legs and feet. I have no treatment for my edema in my arms and hands. And I can't eat salt. I can't drink enough water. I can't do many things now that I have the leaky blood vessels in my arms and hands and legs and feet. The leaky blood vessels just don't stop leaking. I used to be a sprinter, a baseball player, a basketball player, a rugby player, a soccer player. I used to have the strongest arms in the world. I used to carry 100 pounds with me when I was homeless. I was homeless for 10 years from 2007 to 2017, and I was on my own. And I suffer from anxiety and depression and PTSD. There's no way out of it for me unless I wake up the world and get my story out. I don't know if this will even work. I don't know if Kathleen Wynne or Doug Ford or Kevin Yard or anybody will listen, will bring the truth out. I don't even know if Facebook shows these videos to anybody. I don't even know if YouTube shows these videos to anybody. I don't know what's gonna happen next. Sometimes I think they're just gonna get me in my sleep, finish me off before I win in court, or finish me off before I get off the street. And I'm gonna start from the beginning. From the beginning, in about 2012, I was attacked, crushed on the floor at East General Hospital in Toronto. Now that hospital is now called Michael Garron. I was crushed on the floor by security guards. And when I was crushed, I was screaming to my girlfriend, who happened to be in the hospital at the same time as me. I was screaming to her, Angela, they're killing me, they're killing me. and I was screaming at the top of my lungs, and she was behind a locked door on a different unit but could hear everything. And I thought it was the last time I would reach out to her and call to her. And I actually went there to help her. I put myself in the hospital to help her. And I actually called an MP. I called a lady named Lori Urban. And Lori Urban went to the hospital to see Angela because she had been in there for at least 3 months. And on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, maybe it was New Year's Eve, her doctor had her taken to the hospital by the police in handcuffs while I was with her at St. Matthew's Church, downtown Toronto. And she was under a blanket. I was trying to keep her warm. I was trying to get her off the street. And just as we were trying to get ourselves off the street, the police took her for 3 months to Michael Garron Hospital. And then when I put myself there, after Lori Urban couldn't do anything, and the security guards treated her like garbage, and she showed her badge, she showed her identification that she worked for Michael, I forget his name, Michael, an MP in the Beaches. When she showed her badge, her identification around her neck, the security guards said horrible things to her and intimidated her. And she was only able to speak to Angela after she had been in for a month or two. She was only able to speak to her for 10 seconds, and then she had to leave. She was kicked out by security. And Angela left a message with Lori Urban saying that she loves me and please bring me ice cream next time. And she said thank you to Lori Urban. And Angela has passed away now. Angela had cancer. Angela has passed away. And I can no longer see her. And I loved Angela with all of my heart. I wanted to marry her. And I have no choice but to move on and go forward. And after that, I ended up going to jail in 2014 for breaking a police car. For a fight with my mom. And the police broke down my mom's door while I was inside asking them to leave me and let me leave my mom's apartment. They broke down the door, they climbed the balcony, they stuck a taser through the window and ripped the screen out, or broke the window, stuck a taser through the window on the balcony, broke the door down, and I was yelling for them to let me out for over an hour. They guarded the door, the SWAT team. The SWAT team. Can you believe the SWAT team did this in 2014? And I went to jail for 68 days. They twisted me up in the elevator. The SWAT guys twisted my arms up in handcuffs in the elevator, threw me down on a stretcher, put me in North York General Hospital for 2 days. I got out and I got arrested for going near my mom's building. And then I went to jail for 68 days. And for 68 days, they poisoned me, and I was severely allergic to plastic. And they fought to the death over me eating from a plastic tray. I went in on a Monday. By Wednesday, I was severely ill. My skin was cooking. I was swelling up. My skin was cooking. I was having a severe allergic reaction. By the second day I was there, I told the nurse, and it carried on for 68 days. For 68 days, they fought with me. They kicked my door. They made fun of me. They made jokes. They screamed at me. They threatened me. The nurses refused to listen to me. The psychiatric nurses refused to listen to me. The psychiatrists, the doctors, everybody said, "We don't care." They said, "You just don't like the food." And the end result was me leaving 68 days later. And the jail was on lockdown, meaning my lawyer couldn't even visit me. I couldn't access the phone for 68 days. I couldn't shower for 68 days. I had to use cold water, ice cold water from my sink for 68 days. I was severely ill, severely weak, and I wrote a letter for the court saying this feels like death and hell. That's bad. It feels like I'm in death and hell. And the end result was me being released, fighting all the time, inside my cell, locked up in my cell, fighting to breathe, fighting to stand. My legs were shaking constantly. And I was released 68 days later and ended up being at Union Station in Toronto, going outside. And immediately when I went outside on August 2nd or 1st, the heat was killing me. I called my lawyer. I said, "The heat's killing me. It's the heat. It's the heat." She didn't know what I was talking about. And I ended up dumping olive oil all over my body. I just happened to have it when I was released from jail. I ended up dumping olive oil all over my back, face, everywhere, my whole body, taking my clothes off, just to make my skin cool down. I was cooking, and I ended up going to a washroom 2 days later on August 4th. I went to a washroom. I went to a washroom at the Chorus Building, Entertainment Building 102.1 The Edge. At the washrooms by the kids' sprinklers. There's kids' sprinklers, a playground, and a little river and a playground, a water park. And then the outside washrooms were not very busy. And I was lucky. I ran to the washroom. The left side of my head was severely swollen, and my left eye was severely swollen underneath. I thought I was going to die. I was dumping cold water on my head all day. The police were sending undercover officers into the washroom all day, and I know because of things they were saying. And at the end of the day, I was in there around 11 a.m. At the end of the day, at 8 o'clock, the washroom closed. I was still dumping cold water on my head to cool down. And I somehow cooled down by dumping olive oil on my head and cold water. And I hid my head against the stall. I hid the left side of my head against the stall, standing in the mirror, so that when everybody came in the door on the right, they didn't see the left side of my head. I was terrified I was going to die in a horrific way. A horrific way. I was more terrified than in my entire life. And then the police arrived at 8 p.m. to close the washroom. They said, "You've been in here all day. It's time to go. Do you need paramedics now?" They asked me 10 times, "Do you need paramedics now?" I said no. And then a black lady said, "Where would you like to go? Where are you going?" And I tried not to say much. And I left the washroom. I said, "I'm going to North Bay. It's too hot right now in the heat wave." I played it off like I was cool and calm. I played it off like a Christian, a believer in Jesus Christ. I played it that I was okay, even though I was terrified I'm dying all day. And I was lucky the swelling had almost completely came down by being in the cool washroom all day. That washroom saved my life. That washroom at the Chorus building saved my life. And when I stepped outside and stepped away from the police, they still asked me again, "Would you like an ambulance?" And they knew what was going on. And then I went around the corner and there was 2 picnic tables full of paramedics sitting there chatting. And when I passed, they pretended they didn't see me. They didn't look at me out of respect. They didn't even look at me out of respect. And I praise paramedics. They're my heroes. They'll always be my heroes. And there was like 5 ambulances sitting there because they knew there was an emergency. But they didn't want to do anything because they knew how horrific it was and how dangerous it was to transport me when I was so ill and swollen. And I don't know if you've ever seen somebody's head swell up massively. And later that night, I walked to the edge. As I left the washroom, I walked to the edge of the water on Lake Ontario, behind the Chorus building, and then to the edge of a pier by the boats, by the false beach. There's a false beach with sand, a fake beach with sand on top of the pier with umbrellas and seats, beach chairs and seats by the Chorus building. I stood in a spot away from everybody, and about 1 or 2 hours later, it got dark. And then I left that spot. I just stood there thinking about God and praying for 2 hours. As I left that spot, I didn't even feel my head the whole time I was at that spot. And when I left that spot, all I did was walk back towards the washrooms by the lake. And as I passed 102.1, the edge, and the Chorus building, behind the Chorus building, a lady saw my face and she said to her boyfriend, "Oh my God, did you see his face? Oh my God, did you see his face?" And I walked and pretended I was okay. I walked into the night and somehow survived. There are many things that have happened to me, but maybe this was the worst. I lost feeling in my skin. I lost feeling. The entire surface of my skin has lost feeling. I don't sweat naturally. My pores are damaged because I swelled up for too long without treatment over their stupid plastic trays and styrofoam trays. And I begged and pleaded and kicked and banged until I was blue in the face and fainting on the floor. I banged and banged for help and yelled for help that I was allergic to plastic since I was 17. And I can prove it. because when I was 17, I went to Northbrook General, severely swelling up and severely confused and weak. This is not the end. This is the beginning. My email address is imjesus.smile@gmail.com. Send me an email. Give me a like. This is just the beginning of the pain that's coming. The police being taken away, reprocessed,